Hey, peace and respect, man. Hey, listen, some free game. I'm about to drop a jewel right now. Don't miss this. Just came to me something to share, man. Free game, bro. Free game from me to you. Uh, man, your biggest L's, your biggest what look like losses are really like your biggest lessons, bro. And it's so crazy because I know sometimes we hear that type stuff. It sounds cliche, but don't forget we living in a spiritual, realm. So it's kind of like you got to understand the science of it, And a lot of those cliche sayings are really, just something to get you to comprehend the power of your inner self. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give you an example, bro. I can remember when I first got locked up. I'm a young cat, bro. I ain't never, been down the road. I ain't, ain't never hit the penitentiary yard. Don't know what it's like. I hear all the stories. You know what I'm saying? Although, and it's a general statement, although we be out in the streets doing what we doing, you know what I'm saying? When we get caught up, a lot of times, bro, you know what I'm saying, we be wanting mercy because we don't really want what come with it. And once again, that's a part or a motivation, a factor in why I actually work with the youth, because I know a lot of y'all don't know what, like, that you playing with fire, and the type of fire on the other side of some of that stuff you went to, bro, is gonna be a fire that a lot of y'all are not gonna be able to stand. You know what I'm saying? That boy burn. You know what I'm saying? So just word to the wise, man. Be mindful. But anyway, I can remember getting locked up, and of course, a little bit in, my lawyer, he coming and he talking 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, 10 years, bro. I'm 16, bro. What are you? 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And like, boy, my first time ever, the first felony period, they like, yeah, we understand. However, mandatory minimum. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the way the law works. Shit, it's mandatory. You got to do at least this much time. And it was 10 years for the charges that I had. So of course we won't pity. I remember being that dude praying, like, dang, boy, I'm in the room, like, boy, if you don't give me this 10 years, I'll take 3. If you can just give me like 3, well, I promise you ain't got to worry about me no more. I'm gonna be out the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna get me an old lady. Like, I'm staying in the house. I ain't messing with dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my mentality. You know what I'm saying? I wanted, mercy. But it didn't turn out that way. You know what I'm saying? I had to go through it. 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I had to live through it. So I know that seemed like my biggest, like, loss. Like, 10 years to the face. He done missed the streets. He ain't, learning nothing. He don't got no kids. He ain't established a family as a man. It seemed like I lost so much, But, man, I tell you, no lie, bro. My biggest L was my biggest lesson. For all that praying, what I would have done if, the Most High would have got me out of there, I had to pay for that. The Most High really made me put, like they say, my money where my mouth was at. And in that sense, my money was like the life experiences I was going through. You know what I'm saying? And he made me pay for it. And my whole experience from leaving the county jail, doing all that praying, all the way to my release from prison, was all to mold me for who I am today and what my mission is today. You see what I'm saying? Bro, I can remember the longing and the desire to want to be social, want to be around people. You know what I'm saying? Want to be around people who weren't trying to hurt me, though. Want to be around people who had love for me, or at least what I thought was love. You know what I'm saying? People I ain't had to be on my guard about. People I ain't had to watch my back, worrying about they gonna put the knife in my back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to be at ease. For gang members, prison is a war culture. You know what I'm saying? So you always on your toes. You always, especially on level 3s and certain 2s, because you slipping can end up in you or somebody else getting hurt that you're responsible for. You know what I'm saying? So it's a war culture. You got to understand that. That's a different type of mentality when doing time. You in extreme anxiety. You see what I'm saying? You have your chill times, but it's a whole lot of anxiety, bro. And if you can't handle it, bro, you'll crumble under it. But that's what it is. It was a war culture. So I remember longing to, like, dang, I can't wait till this over, bro. Anybody in the military, anybody who banging and actually active, you know exactly what I'm talking about, bro. It's war culture. The only time a dude get at peace is when that metal steel door shit behind him and you hear that lock turn. That's the only time you at peace, because now you're in a box and nobody can get to you. The people who can get to you, you know, you'll hear the door open before they can actually come in. You know what I'm saying? It's a war culture, homie. But anyway, I can remember longing to be around people, to be around kids and see smiles and, you know, just see softness in people. You know what I'm saying? Because the environment was so hard, so cold, and so heartless. You know what I'm saying? But the lesson in that's what have like built this desire to bring people together in me. You know what I'm saying? And the flip side of that is knowing the pain, the trauma that come from it, wanting to save a young person from actually having to go through that. Once again, you don't know the fire you playing with. It ain't always physical, bro. It's psychological too. In prison, it's slow torture, bro. It's slow torture. That's the conditions and that's the treatment you will get. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because how they look at it as it's a form of slavery. Your 14th Amendment allows it, but it's a form of slavery and they're going to deal with you how they see fit. You may have some, you know, civil rights, but you don't have no, like, citizen rights. Like, they don't, it's over with, you know. Another thing, like, me coming from the culture I came from, you know, GSF, like, there's a righteous undertone to it, you know, where you challenge to stand tall, you know, on your cause, you know, and that's to stand up against oppression and set an example and uplift the people around you. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, my mentality back then, there was nothing or no one who would have gotten me to got on that path just solely by them being in my life. It was about me understanding the foundation to the cause that I was representing with my homies, which actually got me to say, you know what? This is the code that I'm taking on for my life. And I saw how it was applicable in manhood, you know, in fatherhood, as a friend, as a homeboy, you know, as a husband, just the righteous undertone to it. And righteousness only mean that you living up to the example of doing what's right or morally just. That's all it means, bro. It don't mean you got to have on a whole white veil with a halo over your head and all that old superficial stuff, bro. We just talking about doing the right thing when you got the opportunity to do it. That's it, bro. Being righteous, bro, got me like so much like respect and love and, you know, bonds with like other real men. And I'm in a penitentiary, bro, so I know people from all over this state, from the low state, Midlands, all the way up to the upstate. And I'm talking about got a stand-up, reputable, you know, relationship and bond with these people. You see what I'm saying? Because when we living in the shadow of the valley of death, you know what I'm saying, we stood tall. We didn't succumb to all the other weak stuff around us. You know, dudes, all this old, it's a sick place, bro. You know what I'm saying? So for those who actually, you know, experienced that and stood tall on what they believed in, bro, I salute you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the way of the real. You know, all this other stuff, bro, like, that's the commercial stuff to entertain y'all. You know what I'm saying? For the real, we know what's up. So if you know, you know. But yeah, to that point, you know, it taught me, I was in a culture that every day my homies held me accountable and I held them accountable. We move in units, just like the military. You know what I'm saying? So you got people around you daily who gonna hold you accountable. We working out, you studying. You know what I'm saying? You on your square like you supposed to be. Anything off that, anything less than that, it's a no-go. It's a no-go. We ain't tolerating it. You know what I'm saying? And having a squad of men to hold me accountable, it made me a certain type of way. And that's the way I am now. I hold people accountable around me, you know? We ain't perfect, bro. I'm a human too. So it's things we weak at and it's things we strong at. For those that you strong at, you got that. Help somebody with it. For those things you weak at, seek help and strive towards. You know what I'm saying? The strive is elevation. You know what I'm saying? Better in your life and better in the life for those around you. Real brotherhood, you know? So like I'm just showing you the lessons in this dark place, in these dark times, in this savage environment. You know what I'm saying? The Most High had me covered, bro, and was putting me into different experiences that built me. I wasn't always this way, like when I went in there, because I was a child. Remember, I still played and joked and all that old stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not that I don't do it now, but it's a time and place for everything, and I know how to carry myself because I understand manhood. You know what I'm saying? Something to think about. Just because everybody else doing something, bro, that don't mean we got to do that. We ain't going with the crowd, going with the flow. It's so crazy because a scripture stuck out to me just now, and it says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be ye not conformed to the way of the world." Just those two things right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Where you getting spiritual guidance and it's telling you to not go with what everybody else doing. Be the one who dare to do something different. And that's me, bro. I don't care what environment I'm in. The same way in prison. Anybody who know me, they can vouch, bro. The same way in prison. This is the square I stand on. I'm gonna stand on it every day, and ain't nothing knocking me off this square. I don't care if it's the police. I don't care if it's at that time an op. Man, this is me. You know what I'm saying? And bro, that alone let people know where you stand at. You know what I'm saying? But it was that righteous code. I don't care what the situation is. I'm not doing nothing to try to look gangster for nobody. We're not into proving nothing no more. You know what I'm saying? For those of us who really got time in, coming up on 20 years and stuff like that, it's like we come from a different cloth, bro. You know what I'm saying? My big homeboys, they didn't hold back on me, bro, and they had a standard that they expect from you every day. And that was the training and the molding I came up in. So that I stand on that still today. But I also I view how threatening it is to some people, you know, because we living in a time where people don't want to be accountable for nothing. They want everything easy, and bro, that's the weakest that's the weakest level you can be, bro. You know what I'm saying? Stay ready so you don't got to get ready. When you understand the environment we living in, it's really just like prison, because you got to get up and be with it every day, just in a different way. You know, we out here, bro, you got to get up and grind. These people do not feel no type of way about letting you end up on the streets. That's where you end up at, bro, if you don't handle your business. You know what I'm saying? Something to think about. For those of us who went to prison and, you know, at a young age and stayed for a long time, we didn't get these lessons, you know, on how to get out here in this world and compete. A lot of us used to the under the table hustle, that type of thing, or was too young to even have any motion going on, you know? So word to the wise, man, you know, like, get on your game, understand this place. So when you come back out here into it, for those who are incarcerated still, you need to be able to get in this world and compete. You know what I'm saying? That's something to think about when you have to actually provide for yourself every day, as opposed to being provided for. Independence versus dependency. And if we talking manhood for our men, independency, bro, what you gonna do? You know, something to think about. So once again, your biggest L's can be your biggest lessons.